It's right, it is. And then what's brilliant, it's really amazing to look at, is that Jung came along and said, there's stuff that you've suppressed so badly that you won't even let it come up in your dreams. You wake up and you have nightmares. The minute it shows up, you freak out, right? And your mind is so brilliant. And the unnaturalness of having this stuff stored in there is so unnatural. It's so, sick, right? It's such an illness that your mind has the ability to turn those thoughts into symbols. And Jung's claimed they were universal symbols, and he's right? Turn them into symbols, and all of a sudden you're dreaming of a hawk flying overhead, coming down to pick up a snake, and you wake up and you're weird, and you're getting cold sweats, and you can't understand why. Well, go talk to Jung. He'll explain it to you. That's your father, and he's abandoned you, and yes or no? All right? That's how brilliant all of this is. So mindfulness is not a cubbyhole thing about New Age, meditation. It is about your life. It is about the quality of your life. That's what I'm talking about. So if you have held these things inside, and you have, they are going to come back up. When you're asleep, they're going to come back up as these dreams, aren't they? Come on, you know that, right? What I like to call the mind that goes on by itself, those are your waking dreams. The one that's sitting there saying, oh, I don't know why I said that. If only I had done, right? That's regurgitating all the stuff from the past. It's doing the same thing as when you're asleep. It's just doing it while you're awake. Did anybody get that? You understand that? That's why your mind is always talking. For the exact same reason that when you go to sleep, dreams, when they need to, will release themselves. That same energy, in yoga we call them samskaras. They actually gave a name to it for thousands of years ago, right? That stuff you stored inside, that's stuck inside of you, that's not happening out here anymore, fair enough, is called a samskara, or a blockage. If you hold that energy inside, and we do, it is going to try to release. You didn't like it when it happened, so you are not going to like it when it tries to release. So now you are at war with yourself. Now the mind became a battlefield. I swear to God, it makes me want to cry. It's like a healthy person knowing what a beautiful relationship you can have with a healthy body, right? And here you have someone who's smoking and eating and drinking and doing all kinds of stuff, and their body the poor thing is so sick that it's ruining their lives. They can't live their lives. They can't keep a job. They can't do anything. Well, you feel compassion for that. When you understand that if you store this stuff in there, it will not stay in there. It's going to come up. There are going to be things that remind you of it. Somebody's going to say a word and you'll freak. Someone's going to look a certain way, or wear a bow tie, or part their hair a certain way. You understand that? Or a smell. You could walk into a kitchen where somebody's cooking and you start crying because it reminds you of mommy or something like that. Or crying because you didn't like your mommy. Right? It can go either way. The point is you are carrying a minefield. Not a mind field, a minefield. Right? We talk about all the mines that got left behind in different countries, right? You are carrying a minefield inside your mind, are you not? Every single thing that ever happened that bothered you, you kept inside because you weren't able to experience it and let it go. Weren't whole enough, grown enough, mature enough, call it whatever you want, right? I was not ready enough to handle what happened to me. And because I couldn't handle what happened to me, I pushed it down so I didn't have to experience it fully, and now it is stuck inside of me. And it is constantly trying to come up, and it comes up as those background thoughts. Just try to sit down and meditate. People come to me sometimes and say, me, I tried to meditate, I can't. What does that mean? What does that mean, you can't? I tried to play tennis. I hit the ball into the net every time, but it doesn't mean I can't, right? I mean, you try, you do it. What do you mean you can't meditate? Well, I sit down, and my mind won't stop. Well, there we go. Now, actually, you want it to stop. You're willfully trying to get it to stop, but it doesn't, does it? All right? Only once in a while. Why doesn't it stop? I told you. I swear, what we have just shared is the most important thing you will ever learn in your life. You are running around with this stuff stuck inside of you. It is trying to release, and when you sit down quietly and don't distract yourself with a whole bunch of other things, guess what's going to happen? It's going to come back up. I've had people tell me, I was doing better before I started meditating. No, you weren't. No, you were not. You just didn't notice how bad it was, okay? And you don't want to notice, do you? You understand that, okay? So what mindfulness starts from is one, I have a problem with my mind. Not my intellectual mind. We call it the intellectual mind, the analytical mind, the impersonal mind. See why you call it that, right? Very much I like the word impersonal mind. That's not cold. It means you are using your mind for what it was meant for, as a tool, right? The personal mind is the one that's full of all the garbage that you personally couldn't handle. And so now it's all stuck inside the mind. They disturb each other. I'm going to stand here. I'm in trouble because I'm in college. I have to prove myself, but I won't. I'm going to promise you that you take your IQ, right? Then you get your mind together, and you take your IQ again. There's no comparison. Remember that advertisement, here's your mind on drugs, right? And they crack the egg, right? Here's your mind on you. It's like you can't possibly be doing your best if you have that garbage going on in there. Even if it is not coming up at that moment, it is underneath there using your consciousness. Well, if it's not coming up at the moment you're taking your SAT test, right, it's because you're pushing it down subconsciously. That energy could be used to take the test. There's no way you can argue with me, right, that a radio station sounds better when they're static. No, you can't. The music is not going to sound better. You can't do better. There's no way you're going to argue with me that your mind does better with that junk going on inside of there. It does not do better. It is of no benefit, zero. And someday you wake up and say, I got some work to do. I have work to do. And I'm telling you, if you do this work, you will literally get smarter. If you think you're not good at math, if you think I was never good at this, if you don't have good reading comprehension, I'm telling you, the more you release this obligation that you've done to yourself to suppress this stuff inside of you, holding it down there, you will find life is more enjoyable. Food tastes better. Relationships are deeper. And you're smarter. Can you understand that? Because you released it. So it's fun to talk about. Right? It's a very important thing. So the question is, fine, there's the foundation of mindfulness. The foundation, I always used to complain that people go to school and they throw answers at you. Now let's start with questions. So I have some place to put it. Now we have a reason to talk about techniques. We have a reason to talk about what usually sells as mindfulness, right? Which is too late. If you go try to meditate, it doesn't work. What do I do about this? First, are we honest? Is this going on in there? I'm telling you, it runs your life. Do you understand that? It runs your life. Except I usually put an I in there. It ruins your life. That's all it is. It will ruin your life. It will ruin your relationships. It will ruin your career. It will ruin everything. You'll go to work. You'll enjoy the job. Oh my God, I got the perfect job. It's unbelievable. My mind just say, come back in a little while. Let's have a talk, right? Because there's no way that something's not going to happen at that job that isn't what your mind wants. Do you understand that? It's going to happen. Your boss is going to criticize you, or somebody else is going to get the raise, or you're going to want to do something and they didn't give you the day off. Do you understand that? It is going to happen. It is literally impossible. It is statistically impossible that the world in front of you unfolds the way you want it to. Uh-oh. Did they take Santa away? Right? I have a whole thing on this. Will you understand the world unfolding in front of you has 700 billion forces that are making it be what it is? You're smart people. We're in a college here, right? There are forces, cause and effect. There are all kinds of things that have happened that consolidate, coordinate together, interact together, and they make the current moment. That's why the weather is the way it is. That's why people are the way they are. That's why every single thing is the way it is. None of it's because of the way you want it to be. It's like you're bringing into the moment of physics and chemistry and psychology the reality of why things are unfolding. You're making up based on your past experiences how you want it to be, and you're literally saying it's supposed to be that way. Do I have to go any further? Will you admit that's kind of far off, right? Things are not going to be the way your mind wants, ever. Every once in a while, something will line up. It will not stay, will it? It doesn't ever do it. It disappoints you. I didn't think you'd be like that. You get in a relationship, it seems so perfect till they do something or don't say something. There is no way. It's not going to hit your stuff. If the stuff is in there, something is going to stimulate it, isn't it? Right? This is why life is so hard. We're talking about solving all of life's problems, right? Because the truth is, life is unfolding in front of you. You're given this wonderful opportunity to play with it, interact with it. It's a sport. Do your best with it. You understand that? I said you can do whatever you want. Doesn't mean you'll succeed the way you want to, but you get to interact the way you want. The problem is you can't now because you're scared to death that something's going to hurt you. Come on, right? You're scared to death that you won't get what you want or that you'll get what you don't want. And if you walk through life that way, you're so limited. So mindfulness says, I don't want to live like that. If I have but one life to live, heck if I'm living it that way. You understand that? I'm not going to run through life trying to make every moment be the way I want it to be because I can't handle reality and then get all upset and disappointed and then store more stuff inside of me. So, I mean, one wise people sometimes wake up and say, you know, somehow I land on the planet Earth. Maybe you know how you got here, but I don't. All right, just, whoop, I didn't take a rocket ship. You know, look how long it took to get to Mars. How long did it take you to get to Earth? Somehow you landed on a planet, didn't you? All right, and you're going to be here for a certain number of years. The time between your birth and your death, you're going to spend on the planet Earth. I'm going to tell you a secret. The planet Earth is a really, really, really nice place compared to Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, or any exoplanet that we've found so far. You understand that? You won the lottery 7 billion times over. There's people, places, things, roaches, spiders. There's so many exciting things going on the planet Earth. Every moment of your life there's something going on, isn't there? Right? And look how we live, as though it's a disaster place and we're scared to death of it. Mindfulness says, put an end to this. You don't have to live like this. So how do I work with this? What is the real way to stop this tyranny of the mind? By going to the root. The Buddhists say you work at the root. The root is you stored this stuff inside of you, and now it's trying to release. Don't sit there and learn how to push it back down. You have to learn to let it go. And that's the true work of mindfulness. You can do many things in between, but I'm telling you, you want to get somewhere, and you're capable, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter rich or poor, you can have a beautiful life. You can be here anyway. You might as well have fun, right? You don't have to be scared, right? You should. You know what it should be like? A mindful person wakes up in the morning. I'm back. I wonder what's going to happen today. I can't wait to see. It's like a mystery tour. It's like Christmas morning. Something will happen, won't it? And I'll have fun with it. It's going to be exciting. And at the end of the day, you put your head down and go, wow, that was fun. And you go to sleep. And when you wake up in the morning, it's a new day. You're capable of living like that. And you will do better at your career. You will do better at your relationship. You'll do better at every single thing you do because you don't have these problems. Right now inside, we have serious problems stored in what we call the personal mind. We are then trying to do everything we can with our lives to make it more tolerable to live with ourselves. Trying to find relationships that make us feel better about ourselves. Trying to find jobs that prove that we're worthy of something. Do you understand that? How many people go to a job not to get to... Well, let me ask this way. Look, I was CEO of a public company, all right? I had 2,300 people reporting to me. I can assure you, how few people come to work to get the work done. Do you understand that, right? I don't know why people go to work. They go to work so they can earn the money and have a nice weekend. They go to work so they can prove themselves that I'm better than somebody else. They can go to work so that they can climb the corporate ladder and be, you understand that? Well, you know, there's a job to do. There's a widget to put on an assembly line. And don't you want to do it nicely? No, I couldn't. If you pay me to not come, I just take the money. It should be the opposite. It should be you're doing your job and you love doing your job and it's kind of fun, right? And they pay you. Why are they paying me? I swear to God, that is what it gets like. In other words, I'm going to move on. If you are not okay inside, and you know what that means, if you are not okay inside, then life is a battle to try to create situations that will make you feel better and avoid situations that will make you feel worse. Can you relate to that? Right? When you are okay inside, life is fun. Life is just, oh my God, there's not more fun that could possibly exist, all right? Every single moment is an exciting challenge to do your best, to bring your A game to everything that's going on, right? It's like sports. I shouldn't talk about it now, but anyways, you know, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. The question is, did you enjoy the game? Did you get better because of it? If you played a competitor that was better than you, that's wonderful. You learned. You understand that? It's the same thing with relationships. If you're in a relationship and it didn't work out, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Did you learn? Did you grow? Are you better now to move on with your life? Every single moment of life is a learning experience. Do you understand that? The point that I get across to people, I say to you, you are always better... Oh, I'm in trouble. I'll step back. You are always better off having had an experience than not having had it. You are a wholer person because you had an experience. Do you understand that? If you didn't ever travel somewhere, then you didn't have that experience. If you didn't ever fall in love, you don't know anything about it. You're a novice. You're nothing, right? When you have an experience, when life gives you the gift of an experience, and you experience it, and you learn from it, how can you tell me you're not better off than you were before you had the experience? It can't make you worse off unless you resist the experience. And then it can really make you worse off, can't it? If you don't like the experience and you resist it, it can ruin your life. But the fact that you got to have the experience is really special. It's a special thing. It's a thank you. This gives you a taste of how a mindful person lives. But you can't just decide to live like that, because then you're going to suppress the issues you have inside, right? You're going to come to me and say, but what if somebody dies? But what do I do if this happens, right? You didn't catch on yet, right? Get yourself together. Be happy inside. Be whole. Feel complete, right? Feel love pouring up inside of you because you don't have this junk stored inside of you. Then go out and bring that into this world with enthusiasm, with passion, with love, right? And interact with every single thing that life brings before you with a sense of honor and respect and gratitude for the right to be able to do that. You have the right to live like that. If you're a student, love going to school. Don't go to school so you can graduate and then go get a job and earn some. What, are you crazy? School is one of the neatest, especially college. That's got to be one of the neatest experiences you'll ever have in your entire life. Do you understand that? Somebody's paying for you to go and listen to smart people tell you stuff. You didn't have to go on the web and read. They sit there and tell you. Well, and what do? Oh, I went to sleep. Like, come on, right? You get to the point, or you, I can't wait to get out and meet my boyfriend. It's always about something else. The reason is because you're not okay. And if you're not okay, you can't enjoy what's happening to you. You have to be looking for the thing that will be okay, that will make you be okay. So we have the groundwork down. The problem here is that you're not okay inside. If you were okay inside, your life would be totally different, wouldn't it? You understand that? Like relationships. You're wrong if you think a relationship is supposed to make you feel love. You're wrong if you think a relationship is supposed to make you feel needed and whole and important. That's wrong. That's wrong. You're supposed to feel love to start with. That's natural. Love is part of your being. You're supposed to feel whole and complete within yourself, right? Tremendous openness and power, right? Now go out and share it with another person. That's a relationship. Don't need and then get upset because they didn't give it to you. You understand that? There's no way. This is my view. I've done it for 45 years, right? There's no way that if you can't fix what's wrong with you inside, that someone else is going to do it. They don't even know you. They got their own problems. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? Nobody can go in there and get rid of the stuff that you decided you're going to store inside. What you're basically asking, though, is even though I have this inside of me, make me feel better, tell me you love me, be my friend, etc., and that will make it easier for me to live with the junk I have inside. No, I want so much more for you. You understand that? I want that you feel whole and complete inside, that you don't have that junk inside, and that you can come out and share your being. And imagine if two people are doing that in a relationship. Right? That's beautiful, man, right? So this is what it means to get high. That's what mindfulness is about, not drugs. Right? It's about learning that you're a great being. There is greatness inside of you. You're a human being. It's the highest species on the planet, right? You have a brilliant mind. You have a beautiful heart that's capable of experiencing beautiful things. You broke it. You broke your heart. Somebody else didn't break your heart. You stored all this garbage inside every time something bothered you. Now your heart's full of pain. Do you understand that? It doesn't take much for you to feel pain in your heart, does it? Somebody doesn't say something or says it wrong, they're not the right intonation, or doesn't say hello. Oh my God, why didn't they say hello? I never did anything. Okay, that, I'm telling you, every bit of this is because you stored that stuff inside of you. If you get rid of that stuff, your whole life changes. So that's why mindfulness as a way of life, right? Mindfulness is your life. It's not even a way of life. So how does one go about, first of all, is it possible to literally get rid of all this stuff in there? Yes. I'm telling you, there is no super glue in there. I swear to God, that is not the nature of things. There is nothing gluing that stuff inside of you. If it is inside of you what happened 20 years ago, it is because you are holding it inside of you. Do you understand that? And they talk about neural pathways. That's absolutely right. You are carving those neural pathways willfully. You are holding it together. The minute they try to change and release, you push them right back down. They can watch it with their CAT scans. with MRIs. Do you understand that? You are in control in there. You're just not paying attention. So the answer is always very simple. Once you find the root of the problem, you don't deal with it at the leaf, you deal with it at the root. The root of the problem is that you couldn't handle the experiences that unfolded in front of you, period. And because you couldn't handle them, you stored them inside, and now you can't handle anything because everything reminds you of these disturbing problems. So when it's said and done, though it's hard to swallow, sometimes you'd rather just meditate or do a mantra, not enough, not even close, right? You have to sit there and say, I don't want this stuff inside of me. I don't want this stuff inside of me. All right? I don't want to run around with this stuff inside of me and then worry that something's going to hit it. Or oblige the person I'm in a relationship with to make sure I told you we don't talk about this sort of thing. I told you I don't like when you do that. Wow, okay. Right? And you're going to find out eventually that you can get rid of this stuff. How? It's very, very simple. You won't do it, but it's very, very simple. You just decide, I'm not going to keep this stuff inside of me. The cost is too great. And what's going to happen is it'll start to come up. When? You'll notice. It comes up all the time, doesn't it? Right? You don't even have to go find it. Do I need Freud to show me where it is? No, you don't need Freud to show where it is. It'll come right back up in your face, won't it? It comes up all the time, every day. If the car in front of you is driving a speed that you're not comfortable with, watch what happens inside of you. It's not okay, is it? And all of this anger or disturbance or frustration comes up inside because the person is driving 10 miles an hour below the speed limit, right? Do you really want to live like that? And have these very simple everyday things ruin your life? Because they are affecting your entire life. And so you decide, I am going to be a rare person. I am going to devote my life, not an hour, 15 minutes here or there. I'm going to devote my life to letting go of this stuff that I have stored inside of me. And I'm telling you, if you do that every day, all the time, mindfully, that's where it comes from. You stay conscious enough to realize, yep, there's somebody driving in front of me 10 miles out of the speed limit. I have a choice. I can't pass them. I'm not telling you not to pass them. If it's a dotted line, pass them. I told you, you can do what you want, right? But you can't pass them. Now you have a choice. Destroy your life over